Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're all doing really well. So as you can see, I'm sat in my car, which is where I'm usually sat when we do one of these types of videos, is it not? Usually I go and get myself a coffee, but I've started a New Year's resolution. It's not a New Year's resolution if it's still in November, but I've started a bit of a resolution which I want to carry on next year. It'll probably be one of my New Year's resolutions, and that is that I'm going to bring my own coffee where I can. So I just think that every time I do one of these sit down videos, I'll go out and get a coffee, or I'll go to like a drive through on my way somewhere and pick up a coffee, and there's just no need. I can bring my own. Literally, I can just buy some syrups and bring my own. So, and they're absolutely extortionate. The only exception where I'm going to buy myself a coffee from a coffee shop via drive-through or whatever is if I'm with a friend, or like if I'm out with Emmanuel or with family or something, and it's like a social activity. That's kind of where I'm going with it. Otherwise, if I'm on my own, it's going to be in my little pink cup, which I think I got from Amazon, and it says the word coffee on it, which is very apt because that is all I drink. I mean, I do drink green tea, but very rarely. I'm going to take the lid off because I used this cup when I was working in the community. When I was working in the community as a carer, and my God, it makes it hot forever. I was going out, my first call was at 6 a.m. I couldn't drink this till like nearly 10. Honestly, very, very warm. Anyway, as you've guessed by the title and the thumbnail, this is going to be a Q&A, but I'm going to do it slightly different. So I'm going to do like a couple of questions, which are more of the personal stuff. And then I think a majority bulk of it is going to be more about the business side of content creation, or the business side of being self-employed, because I got a few questions on my little question box about being self-employed and taxes and stuff like that. And then I opened it up again and said, okay, I think we should do like a business side Q&A, because it seems to be a topic of interest. And I think it's such a not a grey area, but it can be quite overwhelming when you don't really know what you're doing, and it's just something that you happen to stumble across like how this happened, really. So I opened my Instagram stories to more business related questions in terms of social media, and I got quite a few. So I'm going to do my very best. Disclosures first. I'm not an accountant. I'm not like giving you financial advice. Obviously do your own research. Maybe get yourself an accountant if you want to be absolutely sure. But these are just things that, I've come across whilst doing content creation as a form of employment. So like I say, we're going to start with more of the personal stuff. And where did I save them? Here we go. We'll do like 3 questions of like more of the personal stuff, and then we'll move on to the business side of it. First one, how is married life? Do you feel any different? I get asked this all the time, and honestly, no, it doesn't feel any different. It really doesn't. The only kind of thing that I would say feels different is just every so often it will suddenly go in my brain like, I'm married. Like, that's proper grown-up stuff, is it not? So yeah, I think it doesn't feel any different. The only thing that I would really kind of say is different as such is obviously having to change your name, and then suddenly people ask what your name is and I have to use my new surname, which feels very strange. And the fact that I'm no longer part of my family name, that feels weird. I've changed my name, and I would say probably 95% of places, but occasionally I will come across somewhere which I haven't. Say for example, last week I went to the dentist, which my appointments are every 6 months, and my appointment before that was just before the wedding. So I went into the dentist and they still had me under my old name, so I had to change that. And I didn't even kind of think about it. I've done the main things, and the majority, it's just the occasional things now that will still say my maiden name that I still need to change. But no, it doesn't really feel any different. Just obviously you've got the rings and you're a Mrs. Your name's different. But physically within the relationship, it doesn't feel any different. Okay, next question. What made you and Emmanuel choose your honeymoon destination? Honestly, I think it was very influenced by me. Zanzibar was somewhere that my sister's been, actually. So when my sister was in high school, she did something called World Challenge, where they went to Tanzania and she climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and she also went to Zanzibar as well. And Zanzibar was there relaxing, like, you've done amazing, like I think they also helped build schools or something. They did some kind of like community stuff out there as well. So they did all that, and then they went to Zanzibar for a few days just to like relax at the end of all that hard work. And I don't know. It's always stuck with me that Zanzibar just seems like this really nice, cool place. I don't know. And then I started doing research on TikTok, on YouTube. I watched so many YouTube videos of people in Zanzibar, and I just loved it. Like this, like, I don't know. We did kind of look at places like Bali and like, I don't know, somewhere other places in Europe, but we landed on Zanzibar just because we thought we can do the things that we want to do in terms of, we definitely wanted to do a skydive. That was the one thing that we wanted to do kind of regardless of where we went. So skydive was always on the agenda. And then when I just really wanted to do a safari, and I knew that Zanzibar or Tanzania was the place to do that. So yeah, we ended up landing on Zanzibar just because there was so many things and so many, like, I don't know how to describe it. The way I see it is like, this is our final big holiday before potentially having children. Obviously, we don't know when that's going to happen, but we'd saved all this money for the wedding. We had the money for it, and we thought, let's just go really all out, just make it one to remember. And yeah, we loved every second of it. But it was something that I kind of like said to Emmanuel, like, I really want to go to Zanzibar. And obviously we discussed like other options and things like that. But in my mind, I was like, I really, really want to go to Zanzibar. And obviously, I don't know, he enjoyed it as well. So that's great. Next question. Should we do one more? Because I feel like they're two kind of very wedding-y style ones. And it's obviously been like 5 months, nearly 6 months since we got married. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Where's all the time gone? Have you got a favourite perfume? So I do, like, not really. Yes and no. I've got a few favourites. I've got Fruity Jasmine is a really nice one from the Dossier collection that I usually get. And also for like special occasions, I like to wear the Versace Crystal Noir. That's my like go-to for like if I'm, I don't know, going out for a fancy dinner or whatever, which happens never. I got my last bottle of perfume, I want to say Christmas last year. No, that can't be right. Might have been for my birthday, but honestly, it lasts me like basically a year. So I don't use it that often, but the Dossier ones are like my go-to ones, and they are my favorite ones because they're good dupes as well. They're good dupes for the more expensive ones if you want to smell that way without paying the price, you know. Last personal one before we move on to the business stuff. Who are your favorite content creators? I have got a couple of go-tos. I won't lie, like my YouTube watching really varies. I'm either watching it all the time or I go through phases where I'm just really not watching it, like, and then I have so much to catch up on. So my favorites in the minute, obviously Demi, love watching Demi's videos. Then I really am enjoying Anastasia Kingsnorth at the minute. I feel like Anastasia Kingsnorth I was sleeping on for quite a while, and then now I can't miss an upload. I just think she's so like engaging, and just the stuff she does is so interesting. And she's one of those people that she's like 7 years younger than me. I think she's just turned 25, so she is quite a bit younger than me. But like, I don't watch her for relatability. I watch her because like she's just living her best life, and I just love that. And I think there's a lot I'm seeing at the minute about people trying to bash creators because they become unrelatable to you, and I get it and I don't at the same time. Sometimes I get it because it's like, okay, maybe you used to watch them when they were more relatable to you, and then now they're starting to do things because they're obviously earning money and doing well off their social media. They're starting to earn money and like do more things which are slightly out of reach for some people, and I think that's fine. Like, we can't expect people to always be relatable to every individual that watches, and that's okay. And I think I just enjoy watching Anastasia because she's not relatable to me, but she does things which are just incredibly cool, and I like watching her for that. It's the same with like Molly May. You know, she's not relatable to me. Like, she's got a relatable personality, but not a relatable lifestyle. And like, I just enjoy that. And then also, who else have I been watching? I feel like, let's have a look on my little YouTube. Oh, I've been watching a lot of Zoella and Alfie Days recently because they did Vlog a Week. No, Halloweek. Halloweek, they called it, where they do like their daily vlogs. I really enjoy when Zoe and Alfie do their almost like Vlogmas or daily vlogging. I know that they are doing Vlogmas, so excited to watch that. I'm not doing Vlogmas, by the way. I haven't done it for a few years now, and I just don't, it's just not let's just not talk about it. It's not happening. And that's the end of that. Who else am I watching? Samantha Joe has been a firm favourite of mine for a couple of years now. She's an American creator. She's just had a baby, and she's very funny. I find her really enjoyable to watch, and just some of the stuff she gets up to is just funny. And then Jordan Lipscomb, of course. I love watching her vlogs, because her vlogs are always really, really long, and they're like a like tutorial. Do you know, I watch less tutorial stuff. So like if Jordan Lipscomb were to upload a like full face of makeup tutorial, I probably wouldn't watch that, but I do watch her like day in the life vlogs, or like weekly vlogs or something like that. I just like seeing what people get up to. I'm quite nosy like that. So yeah, Jordan Lipscomb. Let me just have another scroll. I'm really into podcasts at the minute, actually, guys. I'm really enjoying listening and watching podcasts. I listened to the Should I Delete That podcast, which obviously I was on. I love that podcast. I think it's like therapy. It's great. I listen to every single episode, regardless of who their guest is or whether it's just them. I just really enjoy it. And then another podcast that I've been listening to was the Jamie Lang's one. I just like easy listening, you know, just something that's not too like intense. Yeah, the Jamie Lang podcast is quite good. So yeah, I know that's gone slightly off topic, but yeah, that's my favourite creators at the minute. That's in terms of YouTube, actually. I don't know. In terms of Instagram and TikTok, like I don't really have people in mind. It's like I find like TikTok is very vast in terms of the amount of people who upload on it that I don't particularly follow along as I would on YouTube. However, Ellie Cheeseman is great. I love Ellie Cheeseman. If you want to follow her on TikTok, yeah. Right, we'll end the personal questions there and then move on to more of the business side of stuff. So the reason I did this or wanted to do this segment of the video is because I think finally we are getting into a place where content creation and influencing, or whatever you want to call it, is finally actually being recognised as a form of employment. When people say like, oh, go get a job, I sometimes think, well, I pay my taxes. I pay my national insurance, like I do everything correctly, the same as any other business owner would, but it's just because it looks like I don't do much, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not, if that makes sense. So I think finally we're in a place where people are recognising that content creation is a form of employment. There are a lot of businesses and a lot of brands that use content creators for marketing. It is a global leader in terms of marketing and brand awareness and things, and content creators can earn a lot of money from it. Where to start? My God. Like I said at the beginning, remember, this is not financial advice. This is not, I'm not an accountant or anything like that. Please go and get your own advice. But this is just kind of from my opinion and my view. Where to start? Let's start from the top of the questions, because we did get quite a lot. How much do you need to make before you need to declare tax? So sorry, that's a silly question. It's not a silly question at all, because it's something that I didn't know either until before we got to that threshold. I'm very lucky in the sense that my parents had a self-employed business as well. My parents were business owners, so they are more clued up on this than I am, and they definitely keep me in check. You can earn up to £1,000 as a side hustle before having to declare tax. So that can be anything. So for example, content creation, Vinted. I know that there's a lot of Vinted, like reselling, like eBay, anything essentially where you generate money. You can make up to £1,000 before you start needing to pay tax. So just making sure that if you're doing something with the intention of earning a bit of extra income or whatever, just make sure that you're keeping track of how much is coming in and how much you're spending, etc. And when the time is when the time comes that you've made over £1,000, which is great, then you can start looking at the tax thing, which is where it starts to get a little bit more complicated. In terms of doing your income and expenses, which includes like quite a lot of these other questions about like, how do you figure out your tax? At what point are you classed as a sole trader or limited company? How does the earning work? Is it bits and bobs from each platform, etc.? So in terms of income and outgoings, I've actually got a spreadsheet. Actually, I've got a spreadsheet and my mum has a spreadsheet. So we started out using my mum's spreadsheet, which she tracks my balance sheet, which is like every income and outgoing from my business bank account. And then also we've got an income section, an expenses section. There's just so many sections to my mum's spreadsheet. But then I've also got my own spreadsheet just to make sure that we're both like tallying up. And my spreadsheet I actually bought from Etsy. So Etsy is a good shout for if you're wanting to make sure that you're like on the ball with things, because the spreadsheet that I've got has got all the calculations in, all the formulas and stuff like that I wouldn't have a clue about. And mine has a balance sheet, it's got income page, it's got an expenses page, it's got the monthly overview, a yearly overview. The only thing I've had to add to it is a little section where I've done my own calculations for, I don't know, at the end of every month when I sit down and do my month end with my mum. We look at how much I can pay myself, excluding tax, national insurance and pension. So I make sure that at the end of every month I keep 30% of my income, which will cover me for tax and national insurance, and then I also put a percentage away into a private pension. So I've got, and then once those have been deducted from my kind of on my spreadsheet, it will give me a figure at the bottom for how much I can pay myself into my personal bank account. By the time it comes to paying taxes, I will have that money ready to pay, because I think sometimes it can get a little bit confusing and people can end up getting in so much trouble in terms of paying tax, etc., when they don't put that money aside. And then when it comes to the tax bill coming, you don't have that money in the bank account. Whereas me and my mum, since we've started, have made sure that I have the payment on account. I have each payment available when it's going to be due. So we're all good in that sense. And the reason as well why we've got two spreadsheets, by the way, in case you're wondering, is we always used my mum's spreadsheet up until this financial year, I think. When did I start? It was definitely this year where I bought my own spreadsheet. And I did that for two reasons. First of all, so that we can cross-reference each other and make sure that we're getting the same outcome, which so far, for the several months that we've been doing it, we are coming out with the same amount, which is great. So my mum's spreadsheet and this one that obviously an accountant's created are matching, which is fab. And then also, we did want to do this little crossover period where we both did the spreadsheets, because I can't rely on my mum forever to do my finances and my income and outgoing. So I wanted to make sure that the spreadsheet that I was using was bulletproof in terms of making sure that I had my tax put away and my national insurance put away, and just knowing how much I can pay myself at the end of the month. The other thing that is changing soon, I think, is the way that they're doing digital tax. So I believe that we are going to have to switch again to a verified like accounting service. I think something like QuickBooks, or I think there's a couple of other ones that'll be like government approved, and you're going to have to submit monthly tax forms. I think, could be getting that wrong. But there's definitely something coming in where you have to submit monthly so that you can keep on top of it. And personally, I think this is actually a great idea, because it might hopefully prevent people from getting themselves in a mess when it comes to paying their tax, etc. Because I just think the way that they do it is incredibly complicated, especially for somebody who didn't, maybe do business studies in school, didn't go to university, doesn't know about accounting, doesn't know much about kind of owning a business like me. So, like I say, incredibly lucky that I've got the parents to teach me that. But for those who are doing content creation, and then it suddenly comes to paying tax, and the way that they've set up that website, the HMRC, is just so overly complicated, and it just does not make sense to the average person, basically. So I'm hoping that the way that they're changing this digital tax thing is going to be beneficial to people, because I think as well, I think the government has realised that content creation is absolutely booming in terms of income and, getting tax and stuff like that. So I think they're finally kind of starting to make it a bit easier. Although I do also think that they're bringing in something to make us pay more tax, but I don't know. So that is like how that works. There was one more question. I hope I've answered that okay. I feel like I've rambled quite a bit about that, but I hope I have answered that okay. How did you get started, and what advice have you got from somebody wanting to get into it? So for those who don't know my full story and things, I started it when I was at home. I had all the time in the world to start this, but I was also quite depressed at the time, so I maybe didn't put the effort in that I should have done at the time. But I wasn't, when I started content creation, it was never intended to be a career move as such. It was something to fill my time, and I did it because I really enjoyed it. And I think that's the important part with, the content that you put out there and the message that you want to send to people. You've got to enjoy it, and you've got to make sure that what you're saying and what you're doing aligns up here. So that's kind of what I was doing, because like I say, it wasn't a career move. It wasn't I'm going to do this and I'm going to quit nursing and blah, blah, blah. It was literally something to fill my time whilst I was having that bloody awful time. So advice for somebody wanting to get into it, like I say, got to make sure you love it. Got to make sure that what you're putting out there is a positive message, the message that you want to give to people. Be consistent as well, or as consistent if you can. If it's something that you're wanting to get into as a career move, then make sure that you are posting consistently so that like the algorithms pick you up, etc. Like have a look at trending stuff, and just be authentically yourself, really. That's all the advice I can give you. And I know people are probably thinking, ugh, like that's not great advice, but people enjoy watching genuine people. And like I say, when it comes to self-assessment, paying tax, etc., make sure you are on the ball with that. Get your spreadsheet, keep your receipts, make sure that like things that you're spending. So for example, the camera that I'm filming on can be a business expense because I need it in order to do this job. Keeping the receipts for your equipment, keeping the receipts for I don't know, just stuff that you need to do what you're wanting to do. So make sure you're keeping your receipts of your expenses, keeping a log of your income. I would recommend, if you are wanting to do it as a business, setting up a separate account for that. So then any payments, any money that you do end up making goes into that separate bank account. So then you can be absolutely clear what is from content creation and what is not. And that will keep you on track when it comes to paying taxes as well. Okay, are you classed as a sole trader or limited company? I am a sole trader. I don't know enough about limited companies to become one just yet. I think limited companies have employees. I don't have employees. I don't pay anyone to do anything. The only she's not even my employee, she's my manager, so technically I'm her employee, but I have a manager who gets me work, and she takes a percentage of any brand deals payments that we get, which is perfectly normal for this industry, by the way. But limited companies, I believe, could be wrong here, please correct me if I'm wrong, but limited companies, I think, have like people on payroll and stuff like that, which I don't. So I'm classed as a sole trader because it's just me. I'm the one-man band. Can you give us a step-by-step from when you do a video to getting paid to taxes, etc.? Now, I think this is a really good idea just to give you kind of the overview from the beginning to the very end. Let me just have some coffee first. Okay, we'll do it in terms of YouTube. I will create a YouTube video. Google ads will then be applied to the YouTube video. They're not in my control. Google just adds them on. I think they have something where they bid for a certain amount of space on a certain type of creator's video or something like that. Completely out of my control as to how much a video earns. Usually, if there are more views, then you'll get more money out of it. They do have a way of kind of regulating stuff. So you've got like a cost per mil, which is like however many pence per 1,000 views that you get is how much an advertiser will pay to be in those ads, those skippable ads, those whatever. At the end of the 30 days of uploading the video, so I upload on average around 12 videos a month because I do 3 times a week. So say, for example, the 12 videos that I uploaded in October, I will be paid for by Google at the end of November. So it'll keep a track of how much those videos are earning and pay me at the end of November. So it is a month in arrears. There is a £60 threshold. So you've got to pass that £60 in order to get paid. And then if it rolls over as well. So if I, for example, didn't make £60 in November, but I did make, I don't know, a little bit more, which took me over that threshold, I'll get paid the next month. From there, I will also generate money from like previous videos. So like, say for example, really randomly, a video from last year starts popping off. You know, certain times of year, I do notice trends such as my solo holidays tend to do a lot better in the summer, start of summer, just around then I start to see a few more views around those videos. And then obviously those will generate payments as well. So like the more content that's out there, the more that's going towards your paycheck. From there, that'll go into my bank account, and then it'll be other bits from all over the place. So from Facebook, I earn money. From TikTok, I earn money. From brand deals, affiliate sales. There are loads of places that you can potentially earn money from as a content creator, and it all will just consolidate into my bank account. And at the end of the month, I mean, I don't want to go too much into this because I feel like I've already done a lot of detail about my tax and stuff, but I will look at my books at the end of the month, take off my expenses, take off my pension, take off my national insurance, and I'll come out with my thingy and I will just pay myself. At the end of the tax year or the financial year, which is the end of March, you then have to do your self-assessment, but you've got time to do that. It's not, you don't have to do it straight away, but I tend to do it straight away just because I like to know that it's done, and I don't like to be panicking about like having it not done. So I like to have it done as soon as I can, so then I know what my projections are for the next year, the next financial year, because they ask you to make a payment on account based on your previous year's income as well. So then you can make your payment on account, and you pay tax twice a year. So this is why you need that lump sum, because it'll be a lump in January and a lump in July. So you need to make sure you've got that money there ready. And then, yeah, that is pretty much it. If it comes, so obviously it depends, but obviously it depends on how much income streams you've got it coming from. It can get a little bit complicated. This is why I think having that separate bank account is important. Just so you know where things are coming from. And yeah, I don't think the tax form itself is too complicated, but I would recommend, if you don't have somebody in your family, friends, etc., who can sit down when the time is right to do your forms with you, I would recommend getting an accountant who can just make sure that you're really in check with it and make sure that you're doing everything absolutely perfectly, because you don't want to get in trouble. You really don't. Because tax bills, I mean, I've never had one, but if you end up with a fine, I don't think they're very nice. So yeah, I hope that has explained some bits and bobs to you in terms of the business side of social media, content creation. If you've got any more questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'll try my best to just reply to you in the comments straight away. So then like you've got the answer in the comments rather than having to wait for another video. But I really enjoyed this one. I enjoy talking about kind of the stuff that people don't really talk about when it comes to content creation, which is the money side of it and the business side of it. So I hope that you found it interesting or somewhat useful. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and hype the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys. Baby, let me love you, let me love you.